Hello, my name is Jonah Snyder, and I am reporting from a cornfield in Sioux City, Iowa, in the winter. As you can see, there's no corn being grown right now because it's like off season and it's really cold out. To start with an overview, corn is a cereal plant from the poke family and it is edible grain. It is a domesticated crop. The scientific name for it is Z. maize. The crop originated from the Americas and is distributed all out through the world. Corn is used as livestock, as human food, biofuel, and raw material in the industry. For the soil, corn is best well drained in sandy loam with lots of nutrients. Soil is usually tilled before the planting. We went to a new location and just to see some like if there's any like ripe corn out here, but it turns out there's still none. It's just dead, just dead. Everything's dead out here in Sioux City, Iowa, on January 12th or whatever the day is. So we just gotta continue act like there's real corn out here. It's just dead. For the growth, corn is a monocot with only one cotyledon. Propagation is the breeding of specimens of a plant by natural processes from the parent stock. Corn propagates well. If you cut the top cane that's left over will resprout, and you can stick the new plant in a pot after dusting the cut with rooting powder. For genetics, corn is different from today than it was in the past. It has a lot larger, it's just a lot larger, and it's believed to come from central Mexico around 7,000 years ago. It started from wild grass called teostine, and it is very different from the corn today with smaller, closer together kernels. There are many new genetically modified types of corn that grow bigger and take less water today. A few unique cultivators are Morado purple corn that develops ears with large kernels that has a high level of antioxidants. Another type is red strawberry sweet corn that is miniature, that's only 2 to 3 inches long. It is excellent for popcorn and fall decorating. I don't know about you, Coley, but I'm freaking freezing. Let's just take this interview in the car. Wow. Now we're in the car. We'll talk about cropping systems. For planting, it depends on the variety of corn being grown. Standard types should be planted in soil around 55 degrees. Seeds should be planted 1 inch deep and 3 to 4 inches apart. They should be in blocked rows to allow wind pollination, and that makes it more efficient. For management, corn should be fertilized prior to the rapid growth period, 30 to 40 days after being planted. All fertilizing applications should be made before the tasseling period. Corn is a heavy feeder of nitrogen, so care should be taken that it has enough. For corn management, it is important to see if they are nutrient deficient, resulting in deep green color. Purple tinged leaves show that is suffering from a lack of phosphorus. Light covered leaves indicate that there's a lack of nitrogen, as we were talking about before. Corn needs to be adequate, needs to have an adequate soil moisture throughout its entire growing period. Next, we will talk about harvesting. Each corn stalk should produce 1 large ear of corn under ideal conditions. The stalk will often produce a second, slightly smaller ear, which reaches maturity slightly later than the first. Corn should be harvested at the milk stage of the development, when the kernels within the husk are well packed and produced. Milky substance when the kernel is punctured. Check the ears for ripeness, and by gently peeling back a small portion of the husk, be sure that the ears are frequently tested for ripeness before you harvest. Make sure to remove the ears from the stalk by pulling downward while twisting, then refrigerate before consumption. The first step for quality grade is to make sure your storage facilities are prepared. The condition of the corn you harvest is going to determine how well it's going to store. If you're thinking of a long-term storage, make sure that you start out with good, mature, good quality corn. The maximum allowable storage life chart will depend on how long you can store that certain amount of corn. Next, we'll go to production and marketing. The process of making corn into ethanol will be what I'll explain. The first step is milling the corn. It can be done by dry milling or wet milling. For wet milling, the corn kernels are broken down into starch fibers, corn germ, and protein by heating in sulfuric acid for 2 days. The starch is separate and can produce ethanol, corn syrup, and food-grade starch. As the wet milling process also produces additional products including feed, corn oil, gluten, meal, and gluten feed. Dry milling is a simpler process than wet milling, but also can produce fewer products. For the quality of corn, it is checked at many points during the production chain. Different uses for corn include flour, corn oil, ethanol, livestock feed, cornstarch, and then fructose corn syrup, and much more. Direct market opportunities vary by region and production capabilities. These are typically in season point of sale markets, either on farms, farmers markets, or direct delivery to retailers. Corn ideal characteristics is maturity, stress tolerance, size, and GDU. Lastly, corn is maintained by moisture levels and how much foreign material is mixed within the grain. That's all for me. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.